Hi everybody, it's McDonald here from Trade with Precision. Welcome to this week's Equity Markets Update. Very soon we're going to come back and look at the contract on the screen now, which is the TF contract, the Russell 2000 mini contract. But first I want to go and look at some of the cash markets and look at the major cash index markets and where they are going and how this might provide some indication of what might happen with the Russell this week. So let's start with the Nasdaq and get a bigger picture view here. Zooming right out here, you can see the Nasdaq's big boom and bust going all the way back into the 90s and the big collapse. But what you'll see as well, and if you've watched some of my videos or if you continue to, you're going to see that I'm very big on these precise flat levels where prices tested multiple times in the past and been supported or resisted there. And look at what's happened at this level here. Going all the way back to 2001, we rejected, failed. We tried again in 07, rejected, failed. In 08, rejected and failed. And then again in 2010, rejected and failed. And now we're just breaking up through it. So we're just breaking up through it now. This has happened before, let's not forget. It happened back here in 2007, but we broke, which is the first test, and then we failed to hold, which is the second test. Here, we've got that first test, the first indication of a break. It has broken. It's broken through. Now we need to see it hold that level. And what makes this really interesting is that the other major markets haven't broken their key levels yet, and we're going to go and look at those charts in a second. But the Nasdaq has, and if this can not only pass the first test and break, but pass the second test and hold, it's a very positive sign for other markets that they too will break and hold even before they get there. So we're looking ahead, looking at a leading indication here. Let's come and look at the S&P for a kind of a broader measure of the larger caps in the market. Okay, so I'm talking about breaking key levels. If we look here at the S&P, really the level is up around the 1220 level, and we're not there yet. So we've got a bit of a run, but there's nothing much saying either at the moment that it won't get there, because it looks like it will. There's nothing stopping it. But two of the Nasdaq can continue to push on before that. It's looking like the S&P could break up through and continue through that level as well. Let's just come down and have a look across the time frames, having a look at the weekly chart here. We are very much now putting in higher lows, having made higher highs, and looking like coming up, testing this 1220-ish level, and nothing again to stop the price getting there. No indication whatsoever to say that price is likely to run into resistance on the way. Looking at the daily chart, really strong, good strong uptrend, just pushing on. You know, we're always going to get these little pullbacks, run up, pull back to the averages, run up, pull back to the averages, running up, and now we're just showing signs we might get a little bit of a pullback early in this week or sometime this week, but no big deal unless we really start to reverse and make lower highs and lower lows. Pullback should be expected. Profit taking is going to happen in any market, and any small down days here is not going to be a big deal. We could pull back easily as far as 150, even 145 perhaps, without there being any real indication of a potential change of direction. Let's come and have a look at the Dow cash before looking at the Russell. And again, let's start from the monthly chart. You'll see on the Dow here that it's similar to the S&P in terms of we're coming up to its major level. We haven't got there yet. So we're about 150 to 200 points away from testing this old high, which also has been certainly a zone, not so much a precise point here, but it's been the zone where price has really been rejected in the past. We want to see it break up and push through, and hence we'll be watching that Nasdaq very, very closely to see how that holds. But overall, this looks bullish on the monthly chart, putting in higher lows. If it breaks up through there and shows a higher high, will be really, really positive signs for the monthly uptrend. Coming to the weekly chart, similar to the S&P, no signs of changing direction, very bullish, no signs of even needing a pullback, it just looks strong to the upside. And coming right down to the daily though, I want to show you this in some more detail. As far as the actual daily candles go, perfectly fine, good strong uptrend. It's due that little bit of a pullback back into the averages before pushing on. But what you'll see here is I've marked in three different levels. One was its first level to break, which was 11,000, and it broke through 11,000 now, which is strong, and everybody saw that reported in the press, and it's a big number, it's a big figure for the market to break. The next one is 11.2. It needs to break up through these highs, and if it can break up through 11.2 and push on, then the main point I want to make is there's nothing else really stopping this. I'm always looking for these flat levels of support and resistance. If it gets through 11.2, there's nothing really stopping it until about 11.650. So then we've got a good clean 400 to 450 point run before we run into any further resistance on the Dow. So again, it's looking strong, it's looking positive. I'm not seeing any major weakness other than the fact we are coming up to big resistance, and hence we're watching the Nasdaq just so closely to see, does it hold, does it give us that leading sign. Let's come and have a look at the Russell. And on the Russell, we will look at this in just a little bit more detail and go a little bit more slowly to tie together the analysis we've just done on the cash markets. Let's do our top-down approach starting from the monthly chart. What we have here is an uptrend. Price is making higher highs than previous highs and higher lows than previous lows. That is the basic definition of an uptrend, and in my opinion, the single most important factor a trader can ever understand, exactly what the trend is, because that gives us probability of where it's likely to go next. And the probability, therefore, when we've just made higher lows within an uptrend, is projecting higher highs. That means a break back up above this previous high, and in fact the high for 2010 back up just above around the 740 to 750 level. So this is crucial. We want to see price break up through there, and the probability is on our side right now. However, tied in with that, we also have resistance at that level, because it's not just one touch, it's not just a previous high within an uptrend, there's multiple touches there, and resistance says price is likely to fail at that level until we see otherwise, until we see resistance broken. That's why the Nasdaq is so crucial, to see that has broken its key level. The Russell is still approaching its key level. If the Nasdaq can push through and hold and continue past that level, it's a really positive sign that the Russell will do the same thing. So we're watching this very, very closely, but the most positive sign as well is that between around about where we are now, around about 700 up to 740, 750 area, there is nothing stopping the price from getting there. We're in a good, strong uptrend, good, strong upward momentum. Let's see if the weekly chart tells us anything different. If anything, it just reconfirms that we're in a good, strong trend. We're making higher highs and higher lows again on the weekly chart, and we're coming up to this zone. Now see, it's a zone. In fact, it's really from about 740 to 750, where we've got this previous high around about 740, but we've got other highs around 750, and up around that zone we want to see where price goes and if it can push through. At the moment, it's looking strong. It's looking like at the very least it should get up and test it. There's not showing any resistance in the way, stopping price from testing that level, which is very positive. Therefore, coming down to the daily chart, because those moves don't look like there's very far to go on a weekly and a monthly, when we come down to a daily chart, you'll see that we do have a good 40-point run, which is quite significant here on the TF. It's a 5% plus run to get up and just test this previous high at 740. It's not showing any major signs of weakening. We're looking at each of these charts, just being objective and saying, is there confirmation and agreement across time frames, or is there any kind of conflict? And here there's no resistance in the way. There's nothing stopping price getting up there. We're in a nice, clean daily chart uptrend. Now, one thing to bear in mind though, daily chart trends, in fact all trends, but this time frame trend will pull back, and prices moves up, pulls back, moves up, pulls back, moves up, pulls back, and we've moved up, so we're due a bit of a pullback. Now, whether that comes this week or not, there's a high chance it will actually come earlier in the week. We'll get a little pullback in. A pullback doesn't change my view. I'm looking at a bigger picture view here, that we should be getting up and testing that 740 to 750 zone. If we pull back, the likelihood is we'll probably pull back into these averages, around the 10 and 20 period moving average. We might even pull back a little bit further and test the 670 level, which was the previous area of support and resistance, which will now act as support if price does come back and test that level. So it can pull back anywhere around there, so long as it continues to make higher highs and higher lows. There's no real danger in a bit of a pullback, nothing to be afraid of. The bigger picture view is that we're still going to get up and test that level. And I remain very bullish on the Russell, and we'll be looking for opportunities to get long on daily charts and lower, as long as this continues in that high time frame momentum of the weekly and monthly charts, and really looking to see closely what happens as we get up and test that level, and watching the other major index markets to really see, do they push through as they test their levels? Do, for example, the Dow and the S&P get up there and test even before the Russell does? And if they do, how do they manage at that level? How do they cope? Do they push through? And if they do, it's just going to be even more positive signs that the Russell will push through as well. Happy trading all. I hope that helps, and I look forward to a great week's trading for all of you, and let's speak on next week's update.